Okay, welcome everyone to this week's Feliciano Live. We're here with Dr. Jack Samuels. He is a professor here in the marketing department at the Feliciano School of Business. We are talking about the American dream. Is it a dream or a reality? So welcome, Dr. Samuels. Our first question, as we progress through our questions, feel free to ask questions, and Dr. Samuels will get to as many as we can. Our first question is, what is the American Dream Project and what is its history?
Well, I'm very glad to be here to talk about this exciting project for Northern New Jersey today, and I think a lot of people don't know about it, even though it has this rather crazy history. It was actually brokered by one of our students that graduated from Montclair State, probably, I guess, it was well over 10 years ago by now. And people that have been following it know that it's been under different managements. Several companies have gone bankrupt on it. The original project, in all honesty, probably wasn't quite strong enough to draw the kind of tourists that we think it will now draw. So now, of course, it's being owned and built and completed, hopefully opening by October, by the Mall of America people. These people are highly successful operators of this kind of facility, and I think it's going to change the face of the economy here in Northern New Jersey. So, and I might add that I've been studying theme parks and attractions for probably 40 years now, and I am a very prolific writer in the theme park press. Actually, I've written more articles in that area than any other professor. So I bring quite a bit of knowledge to this topic.
So for those who just joined us, we're here with Dr. Jack Samuels, he's a professor in the Department of Marketing here at the Feliciano School of Business. We're talking about the American Dream. Is it a dream or a reality? Our next question is, how will the American Dream Mall redefine retail and the entertainment recreation business?
Well, first of all, it's important to note that mall is a four-letter word. This is clearly just to be called the American Dream because it really is the realization of a notion that I had in the early 80s. I wrote articles about what I called a leisure mall. And this is the first mall that we know of that actually has more entertainment and leisure in it than shopping. And even the shopping itself is unique, and I think we'll probably be talking about that in one of the upcoming questions.
So our next question is, what will be included in the American Dream Mall?
And that's the question right there. This mall, this so-called, well, some people still say mall, but once again, they do not like that, the management at all. It actually has a indoor ice skating rink the size of a professional hockey rink, a 60-lane bowling alley with a concert stage, a 24-screen movie theater, an indoor ski area, a flower garden that changes with the seasons 4 times, like the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas. And that's just some of it, but the icing on the cake is the indoor amusement park, which will be the biggest indoor amusement park in the country. It's themed to Nickelodeon, just like the one in the Mall of America. And the water park is themed to the DreamWorks characters. And it will also be the largest indoor water park. In addition, it's important to note that there's a ton of dining facilities in there. There's 15 full-service restaurants. There's a 40-unit food court, and then there's an additional 20-unit kosher food court, which is going to be the first such food court of its kind. And of course, that will also serve the halal population very well in addition. And then, of course, a lot of New Yorkers just like kosher food, so I'm sure it'll be a big attraction. On top of that, all of the stores have to have a unique feature in it. So, for example, the COO, when he spoke to us in May, he said the Saks Fifth Avenue store will be like no other department store in the world. And he said, I can't tell you the features in there, but I'll give you a hint. Well, the hint was something to do with mirrors, and I hypothesized that you're going to walk up to a mirror and you'll see yourself with the clothing on you that you may want to buy. And 5 weeks later, I was in Shanghai, and I actually saw that in a department store. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be in the Saks Fifth Avenue store. And another example is there's a Lego store in there that will have 3 or 4 different Lego attractions, including a motion simulator. So there won't be any plain retail. It'll all be, what sometimes we call killer category or showcase type stores.
So our next question is, how will the American Dream affect tourism in New Jersey?
Well, this is the big one. How will it affect not only tourism but the whole lifestyle of northern New Jersey? And I always said it's a shame that this wasn't completed by the last recession, because I don't think we would have ever had a recession here in this part of the country if we had this thing done, especially the way it's being done now. So it is in reality projected to, and this is fairly shocking to most people, to outdo Disney World as the #1 attended attraction in the United States. Every time I say that to people, people say, well, that can't be, Well, the only caveat against that is still the things that were talked about all along about this project, is the traffic, getting people in and out of there, logistics, the Bergen County Blue laws. I mean, there's still the Giants and Jets games during the fall shopping season. I mean, there are some logistic issues, but, I hope and think those will all be resolved. But the truth of the matter is, to be the largest draw, it's going to have to draw a lot of tourists. It can't just rely on local people. At Mall of America, they have 2.5 million people in their trading area, and in that mall draws 30 million visitors a year. It's pretty interesting, that figure, because now realize that our area has 25 million people in the trading area, and if you do the math real quick, that means they should have 300 million visitors, which is insane, obviously. I don't think we could even handle that. But if it's going to beat out Disney World, it would have probably somewhere in the 75 to 80 million visitor range. And, people say, well, how can that be? Well, the way I explain it is, if you think about a family in New York City with kids that are under 12 years old, there really isn't that much for kids under 12 years old in New York City. Museum of Natural History, maybe you go see the Statue of Liberty, maybe you do a Disney show, and you do one vertical tourism thing, which is, going up one of the tall buildings and seeing the view. And kids don't like art museums. There's no real nightlife aspect for kids. So I think most of these families are going to be dreaming on over to New Jersey, so to speak. And the attraction alone really will take 3 days to do things in there. You figure 1 day in the water park, 1 day in the theme park, and 1 day for everything else. And I didn't even cover all the things that are in there. There's other things like an aquarium, for example. So there's plenty to do. Oh, and the Cirque du Soleil show also, supposedly the best one ever produced in a 3,000-seat theater, will be permanently housed there, from what they're telling us. So that's why it's going to have a huge impact on tourism. And then, of course, we always know there's a multiplier effect in tourism. The tourism industry produces the highest multiplier effect, which means the money spent there will be respent over and over again, and it will also spur a lot of secondary attractions and facilities, such as more hotels. I think Medieval Times originally, that's in Lyndhurst, originally went there because they thought this mall was going to, well, the American Dream, of course, was going to open. But, if you look at Disney, you see how much secondary stuff has sprouted up around Orlando. And my speculation is this thing may drive Disney to go into this kind of business. It's not out of the question because it's a really significant developing area in retailing, which retailing is not going to survive without entertainment. That's clearly obvious. I mean, we see it even over here in Willowbrook, where Dave & Buster's came and took over a huge part of the Sears store. So that's a very bright outlook for tourism and the economy here.
So for those who just joined us, we're here with Dr. Jack Samuels talking about the American Dream. Dr. Samuels is the Department of Marketing professor here. Our next question is a dual question. How do Montclair State's academic programs relate to the American Dream Project, and are there available career opportunities?
Well, they're already hiring people like crazy over there. I mean, I've heard various figures, but my guess is there'll be about 2,000 management and marketing full-time type positions over there. There will be a lot of events planning going on. There will be, tourism marketing. They have been hiring these managerial positions for several months now. They're not all filled. Now they're also starting to look towards hiring hourlies. And, I guess they're probably going to need at least 15,000 hourly employees over there and maybe more. So I don't know whether the job market here will be able to support this fully. They may have to do some innovative things like Disney World has done to fill all the positions. We also have a little bit of a problem here, just as Montclair State has, with cost of living shock, we call it. When people, let's say, want to relocate here from a theme park in the Midwest, it's in a relatively small town area. The cost of living here is a lot more, and I'm not entirely sure whether their salary scales are going to be enough to totally compensate for that. But that, of course, makes a golden pathway for students in academic programs like ours. And we've had some exciting news here at Montclair about our academic programs that relate to these areas. Of course, outside the School of Business, we do have communications. In the art school, we have theater, we have music, and there will be entertainers galore in this place. So that school here at Montclair will also be a benefactor. But the Feliciano School, the dean recently announced that they are finally going to merge the hospitality management program and our sports, events, and tourism program into one brand new major. So it'll be a more customized experience. It'll still be in the School of Business. Of course, I have a huge background in theme parks. We have an endearing relationship with Walt Disney World and several other theme parks, including Busch Gardens in Virginia. And, we're poised to be a major training center for this facility. So we'll have our own major in the School of Business. You'll still be getting a degree from the Feliciano School of Business, which is a nice perk because a lot of these types of programs are not always in schools of business. And we'll also be able to draw on the other departments in the School of Business for some of the coursework. So it's all pretty exciting.
So before we go to our last question, we want to thank Dr. Samuels for his time today. And his final question is, in your opinion, is the American dream a dream or will it become a reality?
Well, it's going to be a reality, folks. And I have to say it's a little scary that very few people actually still understand it or know about it, even here in northern New Jersey. One of my classes just conducted a study on it this semester, and the results are rather shocking and uninformed. When we ask people, how many people do you think will go to this thing? They say things like 2 million a year or 5 million a year. I mean, it's very, very low. And a lot of them have no idea it's even there. So it's pretty strange. But I can assure you that under the direction of the Mall of America, it is going to be a reality. And now they're saying it will open in September or October, just in time for the fall shopping season. And from what I'm seeing over there, construction-wise, that looks pretty accurate. They were saying June, July originally, but I was kind of frankly doubtful about that. But now it looks like they will, and you can also tell that from the way they're hiring now, that they are filling all the managerial slots and they're starting to think about hiring hourlies. So we won't be dreaming about the American dream anymore. It will be a reality, I can assure you, and I hope that everybody that lives here will enjoy it, as well as the many visitors that come to now northern New Jersey rather than the Big Apple.
Great, so thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you at the next Feliciano Live. Have a great day.